Elf. Oh, Christ. Elf is the best Christmas movie there ever was. It has Will Ferrell in it and nobody else. And here's what happens. Buddy the Elf. Oh, God. How can I do this in 5 minutes? Buddy the Elf is born in an orphanage. Santa, he crawls into Santa's sack when Santa goes to the orphanage. Santa takes him to the place, to the workshop, by accident because he doesn't know he's in his thing. When he gets there, he comes out. And Santa's like, oh shit, a human child. What am I going to do? And then he realizes he's from the orphanage, and he's like, I guess we should raise him. So he gives him to Papa Elf, and who is the guy from... Fuck, what the hell was that show called? It's like, this is Ed and my other brother Ed. And the other guy. I forget what that show was called, but it's him. And there's small people, you know, they're elves. And Will Ferrell's not small. He's a regular baby. And he's big. And then... So he gets raised by Papa Elf, and when he's just a baby, it's already awkward because he's big. But then he goes to school, and he's bigger than the other kids, and they learn elf things, and he isn't very smart at those stuff. And they have, like, worker elves where you are making toys, and he messes all the stuff up. It's always like he's messing stuff up because he's so big, though, and he's kind of a dud because he's a human and he's not an elf. And the elves are like, you know, their whole species is like made to do this work, and his is not. So when he gets big, just fast forward through all the shenanigans that he gets through in Elfland. He's super into Santa, obviously, because he's the leader of the North Pole, and his dad has like a snow globe with New York City in it, and somehow Buddy knows that he comes from there. How does he find out? I think Buddy's like, I'm a freak and I don't know what to do, Dad. And the dad's like, listen, I got you. Like, you came from New York and you're not really my kid and you're adopted or whatever. And then Buddy's like, wah. And then he's like, I want to go meet my real family. And Papa Elf is like, okay, cool. I support you, or some shit like that. And then Buddy's like, has to go to New York. So he has to go on a journey, and it's like, I'm not gonna remember, like through the candy cane forest and through all sorts of like magical worlds like that I can't think of right now off the top of my head. But he leaves and he says goodbye to all of the people, and Santa gives him some tips, like don't eat the gum from the place, and don't, God, what are the other tips? I feel so much time pressure. And he gives him a bunch of tips about, like, if you see certain stuff, don't do it. Right? It's going to be a trick. So, Buddy's like, okay, cool. And then he leaves, and there's a little narwhal that comes out of the claymation thing. And he says, bye, Buddy. I hope you find your dad. Like that. And then he leaves that world and goes to the candy cane forest. And then he's in a forest, and he meets a raccoon, but he doesn't know what it is because it's in the real life now instead of, like, Claymation Town. And he tries to give it a hug, and the raccoon jumps on his face, and it's really funny. And he gets there to New York City, and he does all kinds of fun stuff. Like, he rides escalators up and down, and he doesn't know how to ride the escalator, so he just stretches his long body out for a really long time, and he's wearing an elf suit, which is all green with a pointy hat. And he's a gigantic man dressed in a little tiny elf suit, and people think that he's weird, but also that he's just like dressed up to be like an elf because it's Christmas time. And he goes and picks up all the gum from the underneath all the things, the railings, and he eats it. And he has a hard time figuring out how to do the subway, I think. And he walks past the store that says World's Best Coffee, and he goes inside and he says, you did it! And he's so excited because they made the World's Best Coffee, and he's so proud of them, and nobody cares, and they all look at him like he's nuts. And he's really happy, says hello to everybody, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and he's like so happy to see everybody and everybody's dicks. I think he gets hit by a fucking taxi. He gets hit by a taxi, which is my favorite part. He goes up and down a bunch of times, a bunch of things, whatever. He's trying to find his dad, and his dad works at Crinkles. No, he doesn't work there. His dad works at a publishing company, but he runs into some guy at some point Wait, is that when he's trying to buy that lingerie for his dad? He goes to meet his dad. His dad's Dick, and he works at a publishing company where they do like kids books. And he meets with these two guys who are the writers, and they have